I want to begin a new series with you today called the L3 Philosophy. I know I'm coming up with some really crazy numbers and ideas here, but just hang with me. The L3 Philosophy. First, I want to talk about philosophy. What is philosophy? Philosophy is a frame of mind. It's a grid. It's a set of beliefs from which you operate in life. And if we apply this to leadership, then of course your leadership philosophy would be how you actually think in terms of your leadership. In other words, are you an empowerer? Are you a trainer? Are you a coach? What is your overall philosophy, your guiding philosophy concerning your life and concerning your leadership? Philosophy is the baseline from which you operate. I believe we don't talk about philosophy enough in our Western culture. I really believe that in our grade schools, we should be teaching children not what to think, but how to think. We should be helping them to formulate, based on God's word concerning their life, who they are, why they're here, what their gifts are, what their passions are, and from that matrix, be able to put together a philosophy for their life that becomes a guiding force in their development. Now, let's take now where we are. I want to share with you a very simple philosophy idea concerning your life, your leadership, and I call it the L3 philosophy. Just a quick overview here, and we'll dive deeper in later sessions. First of all, in the L3 philosophy, we want to talk about living big. Living big. What do I mean by that? Well, I don't mean you eat yourself into oblivion and become something that's obese and unable to really function, okay? I'm not talking about getting big. I'm talking about living big. From the time we're very small children, we don't think in terms of potential and greatness and possibilities. We're almost conditioned to think small. And I want to challenge you in this series to live big, dream big, lead big, think big. Always be stretching the boundaries of what is possible. We'll talk more about that. The second part of this philosophy is loving deep. Love deep, all right? Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but let me just give you an idea here. Somehow, over the years, we have been conditioned through life circumstances, through models, through media, through examples we see in culture, that love is only expressed in physical terms, that love is only maybe sexual. We know in our modern day media that sex sells. We know that everything that we see out there is laced with sexual connotations, and somehow that's been equated to love. Much like if you think about Facebook, how many friends do you have? Well, I've got 1,832 friends. Well, the truth is you don't have deep relationships there. You have connections of some kind in the social media context. Well, in many ways, love is like that. We throw the words out, I love you, or I really love that. But when we think about loving big, I want to talk about heart level stuff. When we dive into that session, I think you'll understand more about that. The last thing in this philosophy that I want to talk about, the L3 philosophy, is lead well. So, live big, love deep, live well. Live big, love deep, live well, lead well, sorry. Lead well is this. The Bible tells us that based on the condition of our own soul, our own heart, our own internal dialogue, if we're healthy on the inside, then everything else in our life tends to fall in line with that. In fact, we will experience the level of success on the outside that we have presently on the inside. And I believe when it comes to leadership, leading well is very much a product of loving deep and living big. In other words, it's a progressive thing. And my leadership in life, when someone looks to me as a leader, when they are following my lead, they're going to not just hear the words that I say, they're going to watch the life that I live. They're going to look at the way I relate to people. They're going to see, am I genuine? Do I relate on a heart level? Is what you see what you get? And so I believe this live big, love deep, lead well flows together. And I believe it can formulate a beautiful philosophy of life that if I were to focus my own personal development on living big, loving deep, and leading well, that I would attract more people that I could influence in a positive way. We're going to dive really deep on all three of these. And I hope you'll join us for those sessions. My name is Brian Holmes, and we're talking about the L3 philosophy.